So in this video, we're going to attempt to utilize the server data that's been passed down for the players so that we can render all players on the front end. But we are going to do a few more, we have to do a few more server tweaks as well in order for that to work. So let's get started. On the server, we need to add another identifier that we can use for us as the client to be able to recognize who we are when we go through the list of players, because they're all going to be sent down at once. So what I'm going to do is just create a new one of these, call it UUID. We'll add it here as U. Okay. And then when we send it down to the client, rather than just sending the token, we can send the token and the UUID. Let's just go back down to the client to look at that. So that's the authenticated method. So that's here. And then, so yeah, oh, hang on. So authenticated, so we'll call that data. And then socket authenticated, so what we'll do is call that data, and then we'll unpack this. Let what did we call it? New token and UUID equals data. So then we can just add that to new token. Ooh. And we'll create a new one called UUID. Okay, so that will uniquely identify each player according to what they have stored. So this UUID now gets passed down to the client when we do the update, because that's UUID stored in the player object. So hopefully that will be passed down to the client. In fact, we can double check that because we have this player's data here. So let's console log that. In fact, I want to slow down this frame rate a bit now, actually. So frame rate of 20. Let's go 5. And what will that be? Frequency is, that'll be 200, won't it? I believe. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, so 5 times a second. And we're getting, oh, we're getting 2 players. The old one mustn't have died off. That's okay. Let's have a look at one. So we're getting the UUID, the username, the X, the Y, and the angle. That is excellent. I think what we'll do is we'll put the name under the player when we come to render the players. So anyway, we'll come back to that in a minute. So let's add that information into our players data locally. What I'm going to do is, I think this was called, I've tried this more than once already, but I think this was called players list. So I'm just going to call it players. I thought I'd undone it, but I haven't from what it was. But I think it said players list before I've made the change, and I obviously haven't undone it. But I'm going to call it players, so that's fine. And then what we'll do is we'll basically just copy this and let's just say let p equals 0, while p is less than, let's just copy all of that. Players data, length, and then p++, and then let's just copy all of these. It's just these 4, isn't it? So that's existing player, and that's players. UUID, index of players data, P, UUID. No, it's U, isn't it? That's what's brought down. So we're checking if that player with that UUID exists. If they exist, which is this one, we don't need to do the noise. That was specific to the asteroids. But what we do need to do is, let's just do that. And then position is a vector of players data P. X and Y, which is what we passed down from the player, I believe. Yeah, X and Y. Otherwise, we're going to add a new player. Now, this will change because we need to pass in more information into the constructor. So we're going to need the X, the Y, the angle, the UUID, and the username. The X, the Y, the angle, the UUID, and the username. So let's see if we can do that. The X, the Y. Now we don't need these. Okay, so we need the X, the Y, the A, the U, the username. The X, the Y, the A, the U, the username. Oh, what have I done there? Sorry. The X, the Y, the A, the U, the username, and they need to be P, don't they? So save that. So that should place data XY. We also need to change the angle on that. So angle equals, it's not a vector, is it? It's just the A. Yeah. And we don't need to change the username, and we don't need to change the UUID. Okay, so we're good there. So let's get rid of that. Let's see how that's looking locally. Okay, so it's still rendering me. Come back to that in a minute. What I want to do now is, what do I want to do? Let's go to the draw method. And let's move this players inside the pop. Oh, press the wrong key there, aren't I? So if I do there, and then if I simply uncomment that, but we'll call this players because we changed the name. Okay, this will probably break something. Oh, no, it doesn't. However, I'm not there now, so yeah. So if I do players, oh, players, asteroid. Oh, have I done inserted the wrong thing here? Players dot push. Oh, new asteroid, new ship. All right, let's try that again. Reload. Okay, so we go to players. Look at that, the number of players is just going up and up and up. So it's obviously not seeing the original one when it's checking. So players, not. There's no username. Did I not put the username in? If the player exists, we add the user, we have the position, no, we update the position and angle. Otherwise, we had the whole new ship, which is XYAU username. XYAU. Oh, we don't set it. Right, so, well, in the ship, we don't need the radius, so we can have an angle. So that equals A. Oh, we had angle there. So this one can be UUID equals U, and then username equals username. Let's have a look at that. Okay, what have we got in players? Well, at the minute it's one ship, so that's good. Players naught. Yeah, looking good. .u, username, undefined. Okay. UID is set. A, angle, no, that's good. Position .x is 100, .y is 100. Okay, so just the username then. Username is undefined. Okay. This .username equals username. XYAU username. XYAU username. Oh. Using asteroids data. Right, try again. There we go. Stellar Capitalist 55. Okay. So yeah, so that works. Players not dot UUID. Yeah, okay. So that data's all going in, which is great. I should have, yeah, I've got a UUID here. So what is that? 4A0A. That should be this. Yeah, 4A0A. So that's good. So I should be able to match my player. So what we can do now is I can just put an if here. If, and the if we're going to check is basically is this me, like as in the client, you player me. And if it is, then I can kind of go, ooh, what can I do? Me equals players data P. And no, me equals new. So what I want is this. There we go. Yeah. And then I can say if players data P dot U equals, oh, what I need to do is get the value from local storage. So const UUID equals, in fact, local storage. Do I want to do this every loop? I think that's going to be a performance hit, isn't it? So we'll come back to that. So there we are. That I think is the main logic. Let's see what happens. Now it's not rendering me now, although it knows I'm there, because I disabled the rendering of me in the loop, didn't I? Well, no, not in the loop, on the ship, I should say. Ship.show. Oh yeah, because this was copied from the asteroid, so I don't want any of this, do I? So if I, let's get rid of all that. Let's keep the translate, see what happens. So if I just get that fill 255 and then ellipse, and we'll say, so I've translated to me, so it's 0, 0, 40, 40. See if that works. We'll just wait for these asteroids to move. Oh, look at that, we have a circle. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to randomly create where my player starts, because at the minute, as you can see here, I just started at 100. So what I'm going to do is say, have I used random here? I thought I had. Yeah, see, because I set the asteroids at 200 as well. So let's put some random values in there. I thought I'd used random in one of the previous videos. Did I not use it? I'm sure it wouldn't have been on the client because we didn't generate anything on the client. Okay, maybe I didn't. Could have sworn I did though, that's so strange. Anyway, so let's do it. We are going to set these values here. So we'll say const x equals math dot random multiplied by params dot server dot width, and we want to make that an integer, so is that parse int? Yeah. And then we can just go to ES6 notation for that. Let's do the same for y. And obviously that'll be height. And again, okay, there's a reason why I'm doing this. Number one, kind of just moves it out the way, the asteroids for a minute. But number two, we can bring up another browser and see if we render both players. Now it doesn't look like we are doing, does it? So it's obviously rendering both players to where they are, but it's not rendering the other players. So let's just check in our loop. That's going to be a client issue, isn't it? So yeah, see, it's not doing this. So let's have a look at this. Console log players. Let's see what we're missing here. So players has one ship, which is right because the other ship is me. And that has a angle, position, username, and UUID. Okay, angle, position, username, UUID. So ellipse. Ah, it's position X and position Y, isn't it? Because it's on a vector. Aha! So there we are. We now have our two players. And notice that this player, the screen's centered on this one, but this one's centered on this one, so it's obviously identifying the correct player. Let's up the frame rate. Let's say 30 frames per second, and that's going to be, what's that on the server, 33? I think that's 33, isn't it, frequency of? Approximately. Let's have a look. Here we go. So I'm moving now. I'm bottom right. If I load that, I'm moving. And the top, there we go. So we have the two bits of information, or the two players working on the same framework. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been useful. This took me a while to think about this in advance to make sure it was what I wanted to do, but I'm happy with the results of this. So if you like the video, please click the like button, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video when we start doing a bit more tidy up with the visuals. For now, thanks for watching.